Hello, this is Wmpyr, here to talk about how to survive a prison-style knife attack video uploaded by Jason Hansen, who, from my understanding, is an ex-CIA officer. So I feel like the main point of this video is right where I paused it right here. This is right before he's going to get a double-handed, using both hands, he's going to grab the arm, just like you're seeing right there. He's just going to grab onto the arm to defend against this kind of very aggressive knife attack where they just basically bum rush you and they're repeatedly stabbing at you, probably around the same area, just over and over and over again. And it is a brutal attack. And if you've ever seen like video footage of it, yeah, it's definitely something to be afraid of. And anyway, so what do I think about this? To me, this is the main technique that he is showing, is to grab that arm with both of your hands. And if you have done experimenting, some testing against some knife attacks and seeing what kind of defense you're able to do, then the double-handed arm grab is an undeniably effective defense. I'm not going to say that it's perfect, and I'm not going to say that it happens every time, but it is definitely one that exists, and it's definitely one that it does happen. So if you experiment a number of times, this should come out at least a few times, and you're going to see that when it does come out and you're able to get it, that it can be quite effective. So to me, it's undeniable, and it just, the bottom line is it comes down to test it out. Now, I do like that he also says that, A, it's not going to be easy to do in real life. That it's a lot harder to catch than you might think it is. And then number two is that you might get cut. You might get stabbed a little bit, but it's not going to be fatal. Or hopefully it's not going to be fatal, is what he says. And I'm glad that he mentions that, because I mean, you see right here that he's right about to grab the arm with both of his hands, and you can see how close the knife is to his stomach. You know, yes, he's wearing a jacket, but it won't take much to imagine, visualize just how close that blade is to your stomach. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be easy to take some cuts there. But like he said, if you're able to catch it, hopefully you're able to stop it from going in real deep, and it won't be so bad, that it would be more superficial. So I do like that he says that. And I agree with that. Now, there are 2 points that to me is extremely important. So the first point that's not included in the 2 points is that this does exist. I can guarantee it. Like for me, you know, I've done my testing, and this double hand grab, it does happen. So, you know, sometimes you don't get double hands, you just get one hand. But either way, the same type of idea where you're controlling the arm. It does exist. It does happen, and in fact, I recommend it. You want to do that, because if you don't grab the arm, that arm is free to go wherever it wants. That arm is free to stab and cut you. So you kind of need to. You have to. You have to control it. Okay? So to control it, you grab it. Now, the 2 points is, how do we get here? That's number one. And then number two is, once you've done the double arm grab, what do you do next? Okay, so 2 extremely, extremely important points. And this is where I have some suggestions that differs from what Mr. Jason Hansen is teaching. And I would also say that what Mr. Jason Hansen is teaching here is, from what I've seen all across YouTube and online, is pretty standard stuff. And now, when I say pretty standard, there's all kinds of stuff being taught on YouTube. Some of it very good, some of it very bad. And I would have to say that what he's teaching here is based off of the good stuff. Okay, so let me make that clear. Out of the good stuff, I feel that it's pretty standard. Okay, and that's a good thing. I'm not putting him down by any means, you know. So by standard, I mean it's what is commonly taught by the people that have done their testing and research and who've really trying to be realistic, in my opinion. Now, where I differ, once again, is the 2 points. Number one is, how do you get here? There's some video footage that you could see of this kind of attack occurring. And I remember a fairly recent video that I saw, that I saw recently. I don't know if the video is recent, but I saw recently where it happens inside a bus. Okay, a guy's getting attacked. A guy is attacking someone in kind of like this style inside a bus, and the other person's trying to do what Mr. Jason Hansen is doing here, and he's just getting repeatedly stabbed and cut, and it's just not happening. The main difference was the attacker had his left arm. The attacker was controlling the victim with their free arm, while the other arm was stabbing. So as the defender was trying to grab, they're kind of being controlled a little bit by the attacker's free arm, if you guys can imagine. So the attacker, just imagine, it's almost like a hockey fight where they're grabbing the jersey and repeatedly punching, except it wasn't punching, it was stabbing, repeatedly stabbing. So grabbing the jersey, which it wasn't a jersey, it was like probably a jacket or a t-shirt, and repeatedly stabbing the person. So that controlling arm really messed things up for the person defending. And like I said, the defender was trying to do this. Okay, so what is missing? What is missing to me is, for me, what I decoded in the Filipino martial arts, where you do a lot of partner drills like tapi-tapi, 1-for-1, hubad-lubad, all that stuff where they a lot of times is jumbled up and called as trapping. Trapping, I think the name is actually correct. It's there to trap that arm. Trap that knife arm that's coming at you. It's just that, unfortunately, when we think of trapping, we're thinking of this overly complex trapping the arm techniques often found in Wing Chun and Jeet Kune Do, and that's not to put them down. It's just they made it famous doing that kind of stuff. And martial artists have that image rather than, dude, simplify. Simplify what is trapping. Trapping is this. The guy's coming at you with a knife, or the guy's coming to attack you, and you're trapping that arm. You have to catch that arm. You have to trap it before you could do the double arm grab. So in order to safely grab the arm, what do? Well, you have to first defend this attack that's coming in. So then you're going to have to block it. And the Filipinos always showed the forearm block. They say block with the outside forearm. The inside forearm is where you're going to get cut. Block with the outside forearm. That's what they've always shown, and people have made fun of it and say it doesn't work in real life and whatnot. You have to. The attack's coming in, and if you try to grab it like this, it's very difficult. Yes, you want that grab, but it's very, very difficult. Just, I wouldn't say the other day, but the last time I trained with my a student, I tried this. I tried this right here. Just as always, it hurt my hands. And I was lucky because my student was being nice to me and I was able to grab it. But if it's in real life where it's going to be a lot rougher than that, you have to block it first with your forearms, just like they teach in traditional Filipino martial arts. And it's even better if you're able to not just block it with your forearms, if you could move out of the way. And that's what they teach. That is the traditional technique. So you do that, but then this is the part they don't teach you in the traditional curriculum, and this is the part where people have looked down on the technique and looked down on, some of the Filipino methods, which is you have to pin the arm. That part is missing. You got to pin the arm. Why? Because in order to grab it, it needs to be stationary. Keyword stationary. Right here, the arm is not stationary. It is in kinetic motion, and it is in fast and powerful, explosive kinetic motion. So to just suddenly catch that is very, very difficult. Okay? When someone throws a ball at you, let's say like a football or a bigger ball, like a soccer ball at you really, really hard, a good way to catch that is using not just your arms, but your body. So something that's coming in hard and powerful, so then let's say it's a knife now, you cannot catch that with your body. So you have to block it first. Block it and then pin it and then grab it. Grab the arm, not the weapon. So that's the first part that to me is missing from this guy. Now, I understand that he's teaching people very, very basic stuff. Like there's not a whole lot of time, let's say, to train. So then what do? Well, you eliminate the first part and just teach, hey, whatever you can, just get to that double arm grab. Yeah, I don't disagree with him, okay? I don't disagree with him at all. But if you want to get better at it, you want to increase your chances of getting here, then do the block. And then, more importantly than the block, is to make the arm stationary, pin the arm, okay? If you don't block, that attack's coming in. So you have to block, and then you got to make it stationary, and then you get the grab. And the Filipinos have drills to help you get repetitions for that over and over and over again. But if you don't understand the whole picture, like what I'm saying here and what Mr. Jason Hansen is showing here, and you just do those drills, it's meaningless. You're just doing exercises without knowing what it's for, or without understanding the real picture. So then it's pointless, unfortunately. So then part two, the next part, I said the first part is how do you get there, which is the double arm grab. I explained that. Now you get the double arm grab. What do you do next? And this is where Mr. Jason Hansen and a whole bunch of other self-defense instructors says, be aggressive, do whatever it is you can. Stomp the guy in the foot, kick him in the shins, headbutt the guy. Whatever it is that you can, get him off balance, keep attacking him. That's what they say. This is where I strongly, strongly disagree. Because if you start doing that, unless you're big and strong enough to really hurt them, then you just basically greenlit the opportunity for the other person to do the same to you if they haven't already. You at the very least reminded them that they could do that. And from what I can gather, you got both of your hands on their one arm. They have a free arm to punch you, to squeeze your nuts, whatever. And if you're headbutting them, they could headbutt you back. If you're kneeing them in the balls, they could knee you in the balls. If you could stomp them on the feet, they could stomp you on the feet. I just don't agree with that at all. So to trade with someone that's going to be bigger, meaner, and stronger, someone that is a wolf, compared to my sheepness, or sheepdog or whatever, but they're a wolf, and to trade blows with someone like that, it just doesn't make sense. Because what I'm saying is, if you start attacking, you're creating opportunities to trade shots with the bad guy. So I don't like that at all. It doesn't make sense to me, you know. Now, if for some reason they're asleep and you're able to do that and you get them off balance, and like I said, you're strong enough to do damage to them, then that's great. That's great. Okay. But if not, and you know, there's been plenty of situations where a knee to the balls can take out someone twice your size, but there's been other situations where a knee to the balls just makes them angrier. And I've been there. It's happened to me where I've been kneed in the balls and it just made me more mad, you know, or I've been attacked in my eyes and it just made me see red after that, you know, literally. It just made me even more aggressive. But I wasn't a criminal, you know. I'm just saying, in a like sparring session that went way too far. But okay, so what do I suggest? Well, what I suggest is from the double arm grab, that takes you into what I call a tug of war. To me, it is a like equal standpoint. It's not technically equal, but it's about as equal as you can get in this situation. And it turns into a tug of war. It's a standstill, but you don't want to be in a standstill with this person that's probably bigger, stronger, meaner, is physically, you know, superior, better athlete. That's not good for me, you know. So what I'm recommending here is that from here you go into what I call a arm wrap, which wrestling-wise, you call it an overhook. There's also an underhook, but overhook is probably easier to understand here. So basically, yeah, you wrap their arm around. Now, going back to the experiments, you know, like I said, when you experiment this stuff enough times, you will see that the double-handed grab that Mr. Jason Hansen is showing here is very relevant, that it happens, that it exists. Okay. The other thing that also happens is the overhook that I'm talking about. That is also very relevant. It happens and it exists. The only problem with the overhook is if you just try to immediately overhook, there's a high possibility that a guy's trying to stab you and you just try to overhook his arm and catch it that way, you're going to get cut badly. You're probably going to die. It's happened to me, and I had to admit it, that, oh, I was stabbed hard. There's a very high chance of getting cut bad, disemboweled, whatever, you know. But once you get the overhook, it's a fantastic control, undeniably. I would say it's far better than this double-handed arm grab. So that's why the overhook is what I recommend, going there. The only thing is, how do you go from this to the overhook? And that was the big problem for me, is that sometimes I get the overhook and sometimes I get the double arm grab. And they just seem like two totally different situations. And I'm telling you right now that it's not. That they are not totally different situations, that they connect. That you can go from the double arm grab to the overhook. So going from the double arm grab to the overhook is more secure. So you're going from control to secure, you know, or more secure. So that's what you want to do, and that's a good thing. And it took me a long time to realize that you can do that you can indeed go from the double arm grab to the overhook. I didn't know that you can, but you can. You can just jump to it like a parkour move. It's very quick and rapid, but it's a quick switch, and you go boom, and you catch the arm. So you go from double-handed grab to immediate like pass and wrap up the arm. It is totally possible, especially if you time it right. Like you time it according to their, because they're going to be resisting. So as they resist, you use that force to help you gain momentum to trap their arm deeper. It's totally doable. I did not know that you could do that. And once I figured that out, it was a game changer for me. And no one talks about it. It's almost like no one knows about it. So everyone's stuck in what I call the stalemate position, which is this right here. And they're trying to do headbutts and knees and elbows, and they're hoping that that's enough. And I'm telling you right now that once you understand, you could go to the overhook, game changer, huge game changer. So then what do you do from the overhook? Well, once you get the overhook, it's huge, because from there, from the overhook position, it's not an equal position, because from there you could do what is now called wrenching, and wrenching is another key to the mystery. It's just one more key. There were lots of keys, there were lots of areas that I had to figure out and solve through experimentation and trying to be as objective as I can, which is extremely difficult. You know, very, very difficult, because it's easy to be stubborn and, you know, just go with your expectations and no, this feels right. This is what's supposed to happen, you know, and rather than going, no, something's not right. There's got to be better, you know, and just keep questioning, keep trying to figure out, you know, and that's what I did. I changed my stubbornness to that and try to battle myself and be as objective as I can. And as I did that, wrenching, like I said, is another key to the puzzle. You wrench the arm from the overhook, and that not only weakens their grip, not only it can cause some damage, but more importantly, it weakens their grip, it weakens their structure, and now you can disarm. And the disarms are nothing like what a lot of people show, which, you know, technique-wise, that's fine, learning disarms that way, where, you know, you're doing it with no resistance and it looks like a magic trick, but you have to get off your high horse. You have to stop feeding your ego and going, yeah, that looks cool. Yeah, I could disarm people like that, because that is an illusion and it's not true. Disarms, you got to fight for it. It's very, very rough. That's why I believe in attacking the structure, weakening their structure, weakening their grip before you disarm. And when you do disarm, I finger attack. I finger lock them into a disarm. Okay, so the finger lock is another key. So whether they have a weapon or not, maybe they're just a very hard puncher, I would still use this. I would still, you know, do the forearm block, pin the arm, and then double arm grab. And then from there, from the double arm grab, I would get the wrap. And then from the wrap, I go to the wrenching. And from the wrenching, go into the finger lock, or the finger lock and disarm. You know, now that's a lot of steps. I realize that, and this is as simple as I've tried to make it. But what I can tell you guys is it's kind of like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu has a lot of different positions. You know, so you might start off in the guard. You sweep the person, and you end up in maybe their guard, and then you pass the guard, you get to side, you get to mount, and then ideally you want to get to back mount. So it's kind of like that, you know, you just work the position. So it's kind of the same idea. But if you understand each step, then it really, really makes a difference versus someone that's just fighting out of pure instinct, okay? Because you have a game plan. Person with a system, person with a game plan is going to come out on top. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing, and take care, folks.